Hello everybody. Before we get started, as always, I want to give a shout out to the lovely music we've been listening to during pre-stream here. This is Dreamer by Declan DP. You can find the information in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. Thank you to Declan and everybody like them who makes it free to use our low-cost assets for us streamers so we can have better streams. Thank you very much. Huzzah! Hello, it is I, Deuscain, your variety tape streamer for the night. And tonight, I have nothing planned. We're just going to chat. We're just going to hang out. Hi, Perry, and hi, Silver King Zilla's Inc. Zilla, do you have a new name? I feel like you have a new name, Zilla. Hi, Noi. But yeah, tonight is one of those streams where we're just going to be chatting. So a lot of... here's an interesting way to start it off with. Now, a lot of how I try and grow as a streamer is I schedule things, especially on Tuesday nights, are kind of my night to do this. Like, they're nights to work on something that is important to me. That's why I did the scheduling nights on Tuesdays, because I need to do it anyways. Like, and if I make time for it during a stream to do it, I get better at it, and I do it more consistently. So... if I want to get better at chatting streams, and if I want to get better at improv stuff, Tuesday nights are a great time to do it. We're just doing it live. So yeah, that's why we're doing a just chatting thing. I have no plan. I have no itinerary. This is just purely me improving tonight. So how you doing, chat? You have a good night? Anything good for dinner? I had leftover rice with green beans and mushrooms mixed in it. So it's like a rice pilaf kind of thing. And then I made some fresh chorizo. So I had 3 chorizo sausages, and then I cut up another 2 that I'd cooked and threw them into containers for lunch. Ooh, pizza. Nice. What'd you have in your pizza? I grew up eating a lot of pepperoni on pizza. As I got older, I started having sausage more because it's not quite as greasy. That's probably still as unhealthy for me as pepperoni is. Also, I have embraced the extra cheese lifestyle because that's fucking delicious. Sausage, bacon, and pepperoni. Nice. That's a good solid, like, meat lovers. Yeah. Probably the weirdest one I ever had is there was a time I wanted to order pizza and I couldn't decide between trying pineapple on pizza or chicken. So the pizza I got was half of on each side. It was, the left half was pineapple, the right half was chicken, and I'm like, well, this way I don't have to buy 2 pizzas to find out if either of these are good or bad. Turns out I like them both. The pineapple wasn't too bad. The pineapple strangely reheated better. The chicken was not so good on like a microwaving, but the pineapple reheated really well. So, honestly, the weirdest thing I buy from a pizza place is I get like from like the local Domino's. I buy their salads because they're actually good. Their sandwiches are good too, but like I have to like eat it right away. But usually when I order pizza from them, I'll get like a pizza, a salad, and like chicken, because they have like a special on their website where I think it used to be get 2 items off of a limited menu and they're like $6 each. It might be 7 now, but the chicken is great. I get it with like this mango habanero dipping sauce, which is amazing. Like little bit spicy, got a little bit of heat to it, but mostly it's just sweet and it's so good. So like that with chicken, and then obviously the pizza, and then like the salad I usually get, and I'll like have it for lunch the next day. So. But I'm giving myself a stretchy stretch right now. But yeah, so dinner has been cooked, dinner has been eaten, and the dishes are currently in the sink, filled up with hot water and soap, because I didn't get to clean it up in time. But yeah, not a bad week so far. It's a short week for me. I actually have off on Friday because for some reason, well, I should say, Monday of next week is Memorial Day here in the US, and basically everybody outside of the service sector has off, or essential employees. They sometimes don't get off, depending on what they do. But a lot of people have off on Monday. And my employer, for some reason, gives us off Friday as well. I don't know why. But they're like, meh, everybody's going to take off Friday anyways. No one's getting any work done. We know no one's getting any work done on Friday. So they just gave us all, they gave everybody the day off anyways. And it worked. It's reacting a little bit slow. Let me try and kick up the brightness and see if it just needs to bounce off my face more. That actually seems to be working better. Damn it. But, so yeah, I have a 4-day work week this week and a 4-day work week next week. And, I am struggling to be productive. But, had a decent day today. Got some stuff done, moved some stuff along. So, not too bad. My productivity has not been great the last few weeks, though. I will own up to that. Because, yeah, I came back from vacation, and I have not come back from vacation yet. But, yeah, I don't really have anything too special planned for the holiday weekend. Like, my boss keeps kind of joking with me, like, I should go see a movie. Because it's been a while. I have one that I have, like, saved on, like, YouTube that I want to watch. I saw it a long time ago, back when Netflix used to have DVDs. It's called Molière. It's, think of it as, like, the French version of Shakespeare in Love, is essentially what the film is. But, this playwright, by the name of Molière, is arrested, thrown into debtor's jail, and eventually bailed out by a nobleman who basically says, I have a woman that I want to become my mistress. She likes music and arts and things. I want to put on a play, and I want you to teach me how to star in this play. Teach me how to do that. Help me get the girl, and I will pay off all your debt. And being a romantic comedy, things do not go well. Because the nobleman who wants to have a mistress, you don't have a mistress unless you're married. So he's just like, yeah, you can't tell my wife. But the guy's like, your wife? And then it shows the wife, and she's gorgeous. Like, absolutely stunning. And of course, the playwright has a pair of eyes, and he falls for her. And he falls for the wife. So he's trying to help the husband get with this, like, blonde woman while he's trying to bang the wife, while he's pretending to be a priest, which is a whole different level of just silliness. And the whole thing is just ridiculous and absurd. And I remember having a really good time watching it years ago, and I've wanted to go back to it, and I haven't had a chance. They have eyes? No way. I know, right? You'd be surprised, the people who have no eyes or no taste. Molière has both. His client has eyes and no taste. But, no, the movie's really good. I enjoy it a lot. At least I remember. So, it's been on my to-do list. It's just, every time I have free time, I'm like, I'm working on something else. I've been trying to do a lot more clips and shorts, especially. I think I've got 3 of them scheduled out for, like, the next couple weeks. Let me actually check my posting schedule. I can get you an answer here. And also myself an answer, because I care about that. Obsession is a thing. Alright, what's the posting schedule here? Please load site. I want to know things. Here we go. Calendar. Alright. I have content scheduled out through mid-June. So. And it's usually like 2 shorts a week or something like that. That'll give me time to post some VODs and things, and then also do other content. So, yeah. Because, yeah, I want to try and grow more, and I, so I've been posting more and more shorts. I did one this week that I had made a little while ago. Me doing one of my pre-streams, and I mentioned playing Sekiro, and I mentioned my friend Starblight Malice. Well, I'm going to give a shout out here. That's not how you spell it. They were playing Sekiro as well, and I said I was going to give Malice a shout out, or at least that's what I wanted to say. Hi, Dan. Thank you for the raid. Yeah, raiding. I don't have any gold emotes. But yeah. Thank you very much, Dan. So, you had a nice long stream, hopefully. Now time for rest. So if you gotta raid and run, I understand. Be sure to take care of yourself. Be sure to, get some food, get something to eat, get something to drink, whatever you need. Just finished your streaming. Morg Tori. Morg Tori? Am I saying that right? It's the only time you can raid you. Yeah, because I'm usually streaming before you on the weekends, I think. But, yeah, I'm glad I could give you a chance to raid. Actually, I think I've raided into you a few times on the weekend. So, but yeah, it's always nice to see you. What were you doing earlier? Mortuary. Okay, so I did get pretty close. You were doing visceral cleanup detail. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I've seen people playing that one before. That's where it's like a zombie apocalypse happen, and then they send you in afterwards to like mop up and take care of the bodies and stuff, right? Am I remembering visceral cleanup detail correctly? Ah, nice, nice. It was crazy first time playing. Ooh, new game. Nice. I'm going to be doing a new game myself later this week. I'm going to actually be doing the Duck Detective one that I played the demo for. So it's technically not new, but it's new enough. And it's actually coming out in like 2 days. So. Yeah, I've actually got a busy week coming out. Because I ordered a new phone like end of last week. And unfortunately, ordered it really late in the day, so they didn't ship it until like Monday. 2-day shipping. It's going to show up tomorrow. Wednesdays are my day in the office. So, I know I have to be there in the morning because somebody's coming in. But I might work from home tomorrow afternoon. I might slide out a little early because my employer doesn't really care. Like as long as you get stuff done, they don't really care. Like I knocked myself back from being 2 days in the office to 1, and they're just like, yeah, it's fine. Like I could go into the office no days, and I don't think they would care much, as long as people got taken care of. So it's nice to have that freedom. But yeah, I have a new phone arriving tomorrow, and they don't deliver those in my area unless someone can sign for it, because otherwise it goes running off, and that's appreciated. So I think the thing I read in the email said it could show up anywhere from like 9:30 in the morning to 8 p.m. at night. So it's like, well, that's all day. Lovely. So we'll see. But I can at least check the email before I drive home to see if it already showed up yet. Got a raid and run. Hope I have a nice, lovely, comfy time. But have a great stream. Thank you. Yeah, no worries about raiding and running. I understand. I do that myself sometimes. Because it's a long stream, and I want something to eat, or also I'm tired and I want a nap. Or in your case, probably the big nighttime sleep. So, have a good night, Dan, and take care of yourself. Looking forward to seeing you again.
Hydrate, you bastard! Hydrate!
Thank you. I will hydrate. You have good dragon sleep now. You better. I'm gonna show up and beat up your nightmares. But where was I off on my tangent? Yes, busy week. See, I've got 2 more days of work, and I sleep now. Night night. Yeah. So I've got 2 more days of work. Tomorrow's gonna be in the office at least part of the day because I got somebody coming in to see me. And then Thursday's gonna be there ain't fucking nothing happening Thursday. I've been trying to do more like training courses at work because they have some for like a certification, and like I said, my employer is really understanding as long as we get some stuff done. So I've been trying to like slide that into like in the afternoons. Today that did not work out at all because like I came back from lunch. I took an early lunch by like a half an hour. I helped a customer out with something, and I was in the middle of writing up that ticket, and I got a message from one of our managers was like, hey, everybody, be sure to be in the town hall meeting about how our company is going to be using generative AI in the future. I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to attend this. But I showed up to that, and that was from like 1 to 2. And like while I'm attending that, I have another manager reaching out to me saying, hey, this one person, they got like an emergency thing, and you know, we need it taken care of ASAP. And I'm like, well, I'm in this meeting. I can't leave. I'll deal with it afterwards. And I reached out to the customer afterwards, and they're like, well, I'm in a meeting now too. And I'm like, of course you are. Of course you are. So I got them squared away by like 2:30. Well, no, I think I met them at 2:30, but like by like 3 o'clock or so, they were taken care of. And then I had another one that I was able to get a hold of like right around the time I was ending for the day, and stayed a little bit late writing the paperwork. So no big deal. Not a bad day. That's what worked out last night. Did my arms for the first time in a couple weeks, and they're a little bit sore. Well, I didn't really mind having so much chorizo today, because get some nice protein to rebuild my arms up. I do need to do my legs, though. My legs are not getting the workout that they should. But, stretching my neck, too. I need to do more stretching in general. Like, I have, like, a small, like, couple of things I do for my legs, like, from time to time, but, like, I really need to work it in just my daily routine to, like, stretch on the regular. It's good for me. It's good for my legs. Just sitting all the time is not good for me. My chair at home isn't bad, but, like, for long term, like, I sit in it all day. Like, especially on, like, days I have off. Like, I sit in this chair and I do not get up. And it's comfy-ish. But, yeah, the padding has, long since been squished. But, otherwise, it's a pretty good chair. But, yeah, new game this week. New phone this week. Day off this week. I might be doing a little bit of work that day. A friend of mine was asking for some help with how to do like short form video content quickly and easily. And I'm like, well, I know a place you can go and do that. And I'm gonna show them like the site that I use and you know what I do for it. So that'll be good. But I think that'll be like Friday afternoon, so I basically have the morning to myself to do whatever. Oh no, not the yawnies. Not the yawnies. I've got to be up for a couple more hours, otherwise I can't throw up my sleep schedule. I'd rather throw up my sleep schedule by staying up late, not going to bed early. No falling asleep at 6:30 at night, which is coincidentally where it is for me right now. But yeah. So, but yeah, no, this week the Dark Detective game is coming out, the new phone's coming in. What else? I played the heck out of Hades 2 last week. Like, I powered through a bunch of Hades 2. Grab my phone, do notifications. I powered through Hades 2 last week and basically finished all of the major content that they had for this this patch. Like, I could do a couple of small things here and there, but for the most part, it's done. So, there's not really much point in 100%ing a game that's in early access. Like, even if the save file survives, which it might not, they could also just as easily, like, change things or modify things. So, maybe I'll do another Hades 2 stream and, like, restart the game. But, a lot of that, like, first time playthrough. Like, y'all did see my first time playing it. And I'm trying to remember if I have that VOD uploaded yet. I don't think I do. Or, no, that might be scheduled. It might be scheduled to go live. But, once that goes live, that basically, I did that stream for 3 hours on, like, a Sunday. And then afterwards, I basically immediately turned on Hades 2 again. And it just, I played for the rest of the day. I did not do my chores. I did not do errands. I just played Hades 2. I did the same thing the next like couple nights. So, yeah, really good game. It was as good as I was expecting, and I'm excited for the finalized finished version. What they have now is a really good base. So. Stretchies. Let's see what else is going on. I was kind of thumbing through a book earlier today. I have a couple of like Dungeons and Dragons books and third-party content that I bought ages ago that I just have not gone through, and I finally like thumbed through one today that was, what is it called? The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns. And it's essentially like, it's not a, because normally like D&D books, like you have like rules books, like the Player's Handbook, or like Tasha's Guide to Everything, or things like that, like that are like player tools. And you have some that are setting guides, and you have some that are adventure guides. This is like closer to an adventure guide than anything else, because it's essentially like a whole bunch of taverns you can just kind of drop into the middle of your story. So like one, it's like a wizard's tavern that has like a magical like steak dish that it just always fills up with more steak. Probably can't take the thing with you, but it's like that. Or like one of the things is like, it's a salad, but they basically serve the salad through like an urn that's just full of dirt, and the salad grows out of that. And like you have like dipping sauce on the side or something. So they have like some things that are weird and very fantastical like that, and then they have other things that are just like, no, this is just normal food. Like it's mixed veggies. It's extremely bland. But they had some that were like your standard issue, like tavern in a town. They had some that were taverns on top of like a mystical creature. They had one that was a train tavern, and that one looked really cool. That one I actually really liked the idea of it. I think there was one that was run by like the undead or by like devils, based on the photos. Like I said, I was kind of leafing through it rather than reading it properly, but it seemed neat. Why is it only reading the one eye blink? That's weird. It's probably like the reflection off my glasses. It doesn't see me. Huh. Interesting. But yeah, I had that. I've actually had that book for over a year, and I'm just like, no, I must read through the whole thing. And I'm just like, I'm skimming. I'm tired of this sitting on my coffee table. I'm skimming. So in terms of what I have left on that coffee table, I've got a yoga book, a self-help book that I wanted to reread like last year sometime, and then I have like a 5-part D&D module made by the same people that published Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns. I think it's not the same. It's the same publisher, but not the same writer. Because it's basically like one group did like their own independent D&D content, and they also like helped other people make books. So, but that one, what is that one even called? Citadel of the Unseen Sun. It's by the Grimhollow people. Because I have their campaign guide, their player's guide, and their monster grimoire. Because those are really good. Those are good places to look for like writing ideas. Because you can kind of see like what they did and how they built their world and like how they designed things. Like that's a really big part of like why I got into D&D, because I could see how people like built up these other worlds and built up these areas, and in some cases it's just like it's there because I wanted it to be there, and like it's very clear that that's what it is. But other times it's just like, oh, you know, I built up this place and this civilization and this culture, and here's how it interacts with other places. So it's neat to use as like a writing tool. But then, yeah, so those are the ones I kind of enjoy the most, like the lore books and the ones talking about that kind of stuff. Because that's like, what was it? The Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, I think was one. And then there's the Eberron book. maybe books. I think there was 2 of them. It was like a digital PDF that you could buy, and then there's like the actual like published hardback for Eberron. Then there's like Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes and things like that. And what was the other one? Volo's Guide to Monsters, I think. Because while it's mostly like a monster bestiary, it does also have stuff in there about like what to do for like that's how I found the story of like the Gith Yankee and the Mind Flayers are in those books. I think those are in Mordenkainen. Like Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes has those. But yeah. I actually have so many D&D books I can't fit them all on one shelf. I've got like some of them sitting on top of the bookcase. Coincidentally, they're over here to my one side, which is why I keep looking over in that direction. Ha. Oh no! I should have had more tea. I had 2 cups of tea, but I should have had more tea. Let's see, what else have I watched lately that's been interesting? Because it's interesting, like, what different people enjoy for content. Because, like, some stuff I watch is just, like, VTuber content. I'm like, oh, hey, here's this new VTuber that I didn't know about. I mean, I'll watch a couple of their clips and VODs and videos, and, yeah, they're a big famous VTuber, so they hang out with all the other big famous VTubers, and sometimes that makes me a bit sad, because I'm just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to that level. If I do get to that level, I don't know if I'll fit in with those groups, because, like, even if you're working in the same industry, even if you're working at the same company, like, you don't always get along with people. So, having somebody you might look up to, or somebody that looks very successful in their field, and just be like, I don't think I get along with this person. And that's sometimes just what it is. So, yeah, it's interesting with some of them to look at it that way. But some of them seem a lot of fun. Love to like sit down and like have a conversation with some of them, because that would just be really interesting. But aside from that, what else? Because a lot of my nights these days are basically like come home from work, sit down, relax watching a stream. Then I will look up and go, oh, no, the whole night's gone by. It's funny, I've never seen VTubers before you started streaming, and now I'm watching at least one at any given time. Yeah, kind of. Like, I did like a big media shift about maybe 6 or 7 years ago, where I went from like watching like shows like Netflix and stuff like that, or Crunchyroll, to watching long form content. I started getting into like Critical Role at the time, and Critical Role was a big like shift in my patterns, because I got very used to having periods of time that I needed to engage with content to be like 3 or 4 hour chunks. So if I came home from work, if I made a quick dinner and I sat down and I'm like, oh, it's 7 o'clock. There's only 3 hours. That's not enough time to watch the next episode. And that, been like that for you since August 2020. Yeah. So, yeah, I kind of went from watching Critical Role to watching a different D&D streamer around the start of the pandemic. Or not a streamer, but it's a channel. But their big campaign is kind of done now, and I'm not enjoying their other ones. So, kind of, I don't watch them much anymore. They were usually like my Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening thing that I like to do. So, I'm curious what they'll open up with, because they were talking about, like, when they finished their last campaign, like, yeah, we're gonna have some interim games. Dimension 20 had you in a chokehold. Oh, I watched Dimension 20. I watched their first 2 D&D seasons. I watched the Bad Kids freshman year. Was that the Bad Kids? Well, the group was called the Bad Kids. It was Fantasy High. That's what they called it. I watched Fantasy High freshman year. And then I watched the Sleeping City, the Unsleeping City, basically their campaign 2. The bad kids were great. My favorite one was the one guy's dad, the one guy's pirate dad. Brennan did such a good job with him. And like just the like he was both a mix of mentor and absolutely batshit crazy. And like I love the one scene in that where the one character in Dimension 20 was adopted. He's been raised. He's like a half orc being raised by two gnomes, and he is looking for his birth parents, and he just kind of like keeps an eye out for it, and the DM keeps making him roll for it. And he's rolling really bad for like all of his rolls. And one time he was at the one character's house, Fabian Seacaster's house, and this was Captain. What was the captain's name? I can't remember his first name, but Captain Seacaster. And he was there, and like he did a roll for "Is this my dad?" And he did badly enough that he had to speak up and be like, "Dad, Aramaeus." No. It was Fabian Aramaeus Seacaster. That was the son. It was the father's name. Bill Seacaster. Yeah, Bill Seacaster. But basically, like their half orc Gorgug, is just like, "Are you my father?" And Brennan's response is to pull a saber on him and just like, "What do you know?" And like Fabian's just like, Dad, he asked that of everybody. Wait, what do you mean? What do you know? Yeah. Gorgug's like, yeah. What do you mean? What do you know? And he's just like, "I've been with hundreds of orc women. You could be mine. I don't know." Well, if you don't know, why did you pull a sword? Because nobody surprises me with information I wasn't aware of. And that's the whole, like, that's the character. Like, he would just be like, "You surprised me. Blades out!" Like, it's just like, I love this man. I hate what happened to him, but I love that man. And I kind of like the fact that at the end of that, season, a thing happens and Fabian loses one of his parents. And there's literally a moment where he can choose right or left, and he has to pick. Brendan is such a wild card with all of his NPCs. He can be. Like, sometimes he just goes out to weird left field places. And it's so good. Actually, they had I was watching those as they were coming out, and they had a shirt at one point. And I wanted this shirt so badly. It was like a van with flames on it. And it just had the text on it that said, "Burn towns, get money." And I wanted that shirt so badly. I never ended up getting it, but I loved that shirt. Oh my god. There was another one that was just... Oh, the hang van. Yes. The van that was like possessed by the spirit of like a surfer or something. Yes. Or what was another shirt? Anxiety is real and so is my frog, because somebody had like find familiar for like an animal companion that was like a service animal or an anxiety pet. Like, great show. They did so good with that. I need to get back and watch that again. I've been watching. I do actually have a subscription to Dropout, but I've been watching more of Game Changer lately. Game Changer has really been my thing that I've been keeping an eye on. I need to watch like more of the recent seasons of Actually too, because I like that one. But yeah, just oh my god, it's such a time commitment to watch another D&D show, and I don't know if I have the time for it anymore. Actually is also yeah. Well, my favorite thing of Actually is the sets. So anybody who's unaware of what Actually is, it's a Jeopardy style show. In Jeopardy, they give you like the definition. You have to respond in the form of a question. And Actually, they will read a statement, but something in that statement is wrong, and you have to buzz in and correct it and proceed your correction with the phrase "actually." So they'll say something like, the Ninja Turtle Leonardo readied his nunchucks to attack. You have to buzz in and go, actually, Leonardo doesn't have nunchucks. That's Michelangelo. Leonardo has swords. And then you get a point. And they, it's just fun. Especially because they ended every episode with, like a real life fact, and none of the contestants ever get this right. They always get the fucking real life stuff wrong. Pop culture reference? Yeah, game that rewards you for being pretentious. Brennan is so good on that show too, because he is just sassy as fuck, and I love it. There was one with like him and Matt Mercer and like another dungeon master like playing a D&D episode, and it was so good. That was so good. It's been I have not watched actually in a while. I need to catch up on that. I was keeping up pretty good with Game Changers. Like I caught up with that, and then they only put like an episode out every like 2 weeks, and they had like a behind the scenes episode like in the alternating weeks. That's pretty good. Yeah, good improv. If you're looking for something that's just like a fun improv like subscription, Dropout is fantastic. Those people know what they're doing. Because Game Changer is great, which also keep dancing around, but we don't say what Game Changer is. Game Changer is a game show where the game show changes every episode. So the last one I watched was a buzzer game, where every time somebody used a buzzer to buzz in, the buzzer would break and it wouldn't work anymore. And half of it, yeah, noise talking about the recent one, yeah, the buzzer game. So like half of it after they used all the 3 buzzers that were up with them initially, like they all tried to buzz in, like we can't answer the question, we can't buzz in, and the game show host like, well then find another buzzer, and they all realized, oh, there's buzzers all over the studio, and they ran out, and like some of them were weird and crazy. Like they had like a whole thing of like a photo shoot upstairs, and there was a buzzer in for that. There was a librarian. You needed to figure out what book to ask her for. You open the book, there's a buzzer in there. There was a buzzer in a freezer. There was a buzzer in a safe, and you had to find a combination. There was one you need like a retinal scan from somebody that wasn't on site that day. So you had to like call them and get one, or I think they used a photo. Like one was like you had to call a pizza place that they made arrangements with, or like some place that had a number and they would deliver a button pizza. And it was just, it was nuts. And they had so much fun with that. Some of those games are insane. But other ones are like, they had one that was a murder mystery. They had a couple of them now that were like, it's basically Simon Says. They had a couple that were like mimicry games, where like they would put up like a picture of like a cow, and they're like, your clue is, and it's just a cow, and somebody's like, moo? And they're like, yes, that's right. And like, oh, okay. We think we know what's going on. And basically you got points if you could mimic whatever was up there, and then they kind of like kept playing with that idea, and that ended up spinning off to its own show. I think they're calling that Make Some Noise. But that one's really good too. But gonna do a stretchy. Yeah. Make Some Noise is hilarious. I still love one of the earliest episodes of Make Some Noise, where it's a guy, he gets a prompt to be a Confederate soldier writing home to his beloved, and he's subtly trying to like sext them in this message. And like it's hilarious, especially because the guy that was doing that was also somebody they brought in for the Game Changer episode on like improv Shakespeare, which they did. They did an improv Shakespeare episode, which was nuts and amazing. But yeah, no, like the guy was just fantastic of just doing like a southern gentleman voice and this and that, and I can't really do it very well, but like he held that for like 2 minutes while he's just like, girl, you up? It's just like, this is a letter, and he's just like, you up? Because I am up. I am up, Ophelia, like the sturdy oak on your father's plantation. It's just like, my dude. By the time he was done, everybody was laughing, and the host is like, I'm going to give you the point, but I would like to comment, I had asked you to be subtle about this. And he's just like, oh, sorry, I got a little too into it. We're like, we noticed. Oh, that one was so good. But yeah, no, so I was watching like actually like once every now and again, like, and YouTube I watch a lot of like news stuff these days. Like a lot of it's news, and occasionally it's like like history stuff. What else I got here? Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's like news and history is a lot of what I'm watching these days. And occasionally I'll watch something else, but usually it's just those.
Yes.
So, a little bit sad that I'm not like watching more shows and like not more in pop culture, but I don't really miss it much in a weird way. Like, after a while, like you kind of get used to all the tropes and all the things you've seen, and you're not as entertained by it anymore. So like I grew up watching a lot of like anime and stuff, and I kind of look at it now, I'm like, I don't know if I could go back and like watch anime. Like I still read manga. I still love that. But anime has a very specific energy, and I don't know if I'd really like jive with it anymore. Not for a lot of the mainstream stuff. But I don't know, some niche ones I probably would still do okay with. I feel like I watched something recently, like a movie or something that was really good, but I can't remember what it was. But what are some of the manga I'm reading? I'm reading the My Hero Academia manga, and I think that's actually getting close to ending, like properly ending. Which good for them to be able to finish that off. I'm keeping up with the One Piece manga. That has been interesting. They have like this long, slow, drawn out thing where somebody's just like, and I'm going to tell you a great secret of the world. And they have drawn out that plot point needlessly for like a month and a half, which also included a break for Golden Week. And we're just there like, come the fuck on. Tell us already. And it's just, they're taking forever. We're taking forever, and we're gonna lose something somewhere. I don't know where, and I don't know why, but we're gonna lose something. Like the last bit of it's gonna get cut off. But what else? I am reading Chainsaw Man. I'm reading both the Dragon Ball Z and the Naruto's. The Dragon Ball Z, well, not Dragon Ball Z because it was Dragon Ball Super, I think. That one might be over because it kind of has like a vibe of like it ended or feels like it ended. So I don't know. There's a serious question of like what that one would do going forward, because they've kind of like brought back every major character, and like they fought like a harder version of them. Like Cell and Frieza both came back. Like I don't think they fought like another Boo. They did fight somebody that was like Boo like, where like they were like a space-faring like super criminal who also had access to magic, so kind of like Boo, but not Boo, because Boo was distinctly different. But yeah, like they just had a ton of like repeat stuff. Like for God's sake, the last arc involved the Red Ribbon Army. Like, that's how far back they're going. Like, jeez. And for it to be in any way relevant, like they basically have to take out Goku and Vegeta and have them not be relevant in the plot at all, or have them be somewhere completely elsewhere, because otherwise they just have to keep scaling up the power levels so high that otherwise no one can fight or take anybody on. Oh, that's not how I do that. Let's start out that one. So yeah, so basically Goku and Vegeta are sitting it out for the last arc. They were active in the one before that, but they very much hit like their final forms, kind of. So there's not really anywhere else to go for that. So I'm more reading Naruto now, and they've just done a time skip in that, and I don't really know where they're gonna go. And Naruto, like the first Naruto was interesting because you had your time skip where like you had like the opening section where like you're kind of getting used to the characters. Sasuke has his Sharingan, Naruto has his access to the Biju. Then you have the Chunin exam where basically Naruto and Sasuke both get a nerf and they can't use their powers too effectively after that. And then following that, you have Jiraiya teaching Naruto about the Rasengan, and that's basically immediately followed by the arc where Sasuke leaves the Hidden Leaf Village. So there's like 4 acts for that. And then you have... Yeah, I caught the Steelix. Then you have in Naruto Shippuden, basically like one huge act that is dealing with like Akatsuki, I think was the name. But like that rogue bunch of shinobi that were kind of like briefly shown in Naruto 1, but weren't like a major relevant thing at the time. It was just kind of like, we dropped this here to show that these powerful people are out there. And Orochimaru used to be part of their group before he left or they kicked him out. I can't remember which one it was. I think he was just using them to get something he wanted, and then he left when he was done. But yeah, most of Naruto Shippuden was dealing with Akatsuki and like dealing with the people behind the founding of that place, because they that was a whole thing. I think they were like a consistent like plot point the whole time, because there was like you could probably divide that particular story up by more of like training arcs for the main characters. Because there's the start, and then Naruto learns a better Rasengan, and he uses it in one fight. And then the next training arc is how to use Sage Mode, and he uses it in one fight. And then there's the next training arc, which is mastering the Nine Tails, Kurama. And I think when he comes back from that, it's basically a sprint towards the end of the show, but it's like divided up based on like the individual arcs that everybody's doing. And there's a whole bunch of stuff around like Sasuke and his deal of what he was working on too. So yeah, they but like no one knew at the start of Shippuden like they were going to be fighting something relevant to like what they did, because that wasn't even a concept. Like the villain that shows up at the end of Naruto is mentioned in passing a handful of times, and you have nothing that would indicate that they were still around and alive and could do anything. But they very much were, and they very much did. And they just kind of appeared out of left field. But what else did we have? There's no real new Bleach to read right now. I am still reading Spy Family. Let me actually check the like recent chapters that have come out. It's the right app. Chainsaw Man, Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen I am reading. Undead Unluck I'm reading. Kagurabachi I'm reading. That one I'm liking a lot. There's Nue's Exorcist, which I'm reading. That one seems interesting. Kaiju number 8, reading that. Chojin X, reading that. Spy Family, Ruby Dragon, which hopefully make an anime for that one. That would be like a very good slice of life anime. Blue Exorcist, Twin Star Exorcist. Oh, why did you do that? World Trigger, I'm reading. That one's up to like 240 something chapters. Black Clover, I'm reading. I don't know when that's going to be back from whatever hiatus it's on. Seraph of the End, I'm reading. Ghost Reaper Girl, if that ever comes back, but they took like a really long hiatus. One Punch Man, which apparently last released a chapter in February, at the end of February. Yeah, they're overdue. So, hopefully they do a new one soon. Yes. Poor D. Gray Man, which last released a chapter in November. And then... let me see here. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm reading now. I need to pick up a couple of new series. Ruby Dragon is so good. Yeah, like it's a very chill story, but like it's just fun because it's just a girl finding out that one of her parents or her father that she never met was a dragon, and she inherited features from him. And it starts off with like just a pair of horns, and then she starts breathing fire, and then like later on she starts controlling electricity. You love that for her. Like it's a very good like. What can I say this? Because my first impression was called like a puberty story, which is terrible to call it that. A coming of age story, where like a lot of those stories are about like finding yourself and learning who you are at a turbulent time of your life when it's really a struggle to know who you are. So it's a good period to set that kind of story. So yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah, there used to be a time when I would like read a whole bunch of manga online, but I haven't done that in a long, long time. Because yeah, my amount of content I used to read and consume online far outstripped what I could afford to like buy, so I just read a lot of stuff. Last things I read were Frieren, Journey at World's End. I did read that manga. And then somebody also recommended Witch Hat Altier. I read that too. That was interesting. So both of those are really good stories. Though I think Frieren, I guess is the right way to pronounce it. That's on indefinite hiatus now because they're working more on the anime. But people have been like wildly celebrating season 1 of the anime. And it's one of those shows like because a lot of the episodes are very laid back and like low budget. Like when they do have action, the action can really pop a lot more. It's kind of what they did with like One Punch Man season 1. There's a word I heard used to describe One Punch Man season 1 called sakuga. It's like the very fluid, very beautiful type of animation they did for season 1 of One Punch Man. And that's kind of like what the combat is in the few episodes of like Frieren, like the part about like Aura, the demon. Like people like lost their minds over that fight, and it's like, well, yeah, because the last 6 episodes before this had basically nothing. I think it had like Stark versus the dragon, and aside from that, there's no combat. Like I doubt there's any combat at all for the first 3 episodes minimum in Frieren. So yeah, when they do have action and it's not like an episode's worth of action, like they can really make it pop off. And they can really make it impactful. But I think I know where they're at now in Frieren. They're doing like the mage tournament, which unfortunately Frieren I think was like a month. Frieren is a good example of like what does and does not work for manga to anime translations. Frieren is there's an ad break. Frieren is, I think it releases monthly. But the manga does releases monthly. But I think the anime releases weekly. So you blow through like years worth of content in a season, and then you try and do a second season, and then you're caught up to the content, and it's like, well, what do we do now? What do we do going forward? Because that, oh my god, got an ad. This is new. Sorry, Perry. It's Instagram. Why? Oh, goodness. So yeah, like Frieren, once they finish the mage arc, there's like another traveling section, and there's like one other big arc, and that's it. And they would be there for a while. That would at least fill up like half a season. But no, there's like another thing they did. So they might, after the major arc, they might have another season of Frieren available. But then once they convert that to anime, like they don't have anything left. Like there's literally nothing left. And like there's plot points. There's cool things that they like allude to. But Frieren's about done. Spy Family, I think, is about done. Because I actually haven't caught up with that one. I don't know where it's at right now. People dropped Yor like a hot potato after she was no longer like the character of the month, which is a shame. I love Yor's design. She's great as like a visual design, but also just I love her character. I love her rapport with Lloyd, because both of them are like trained assassins. They were trained by the government to notice weird stuff and just eliminate. And they're both completely in each other's blind spots. And it is fantastic and adorable because neither one has any clue what the other does. And it's very clear, like through the show and the presentation, neither one has any clue. And they both just think the other one's really amazing. And they can't put their finger on it. They're just like, wow, I didn't know you took yoga classes and you learned how to do like that yoga class. And it's just like, yep. And they're yes-anding each other so perfectly. In part because like they have to, otherwise like the show falls apart. But having like the only person who knows the full secret of everything is the little kid is fantastic. Yawn. You back from the ad break yet, Perry? Hopefully you're back. I went on a long diatribe about Lloyd and I'm drawing a fucking blank on her name. I had it earlier. The Forgers, the family, the two adults in Spy Family. It's not Anya. Who is it? Surprised because you never get ads. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, because it has hit you, and I think it's hit Robbie too. Your Forger. Okay, there we go. God. I don't know why. Yeah, so the way I have my ads set up is it runs 3 minutes of ads every hour. And because how I have it set up, it does it all in one chunk. Maybe it's a regional thing, or maybe it's just how it's set up on my end, because I was using like ad block for a really long time on Twitch, and like a couple months back it just stopped working and it just broke completely. So Twitch is doing something on their end that is just preventing ad block and various services like that from working. So some of it's Twitch, some of it might be just how I have mine coded, because it definitely was a scheduled ad break. It's my 1 3-hour ad break for the hour. And yeah, you whitelist your friend's stream, so that would explain it. Yeah, if I'm whitelisted for you, it would let the ads through. Well, I appreciate you watching ads for me. I will repeat what I said about Spy Family. It was mostly commenting about Lloyd and Yor's relationship, and like that is a type of relationship that I like, because they're both very smart people, they're both very talented people, and they are both entirely in each other's blind spots. Like one of them does something cool and amazing, and the other one's just kind of like, "Oh wow, you're so cool." And never questions like, no, a normal human being shouldn't be able to do this. This is abnormal. And they just like completely buy in. Like one time, like Yor knocks out like a charging bull or a bunch of charging animals with like pressure point techniques. And she turns around and looks at Lloyd, who's staring at her, and she's just like, I took yoga. yoga at the local gym. And he's like, oh, yoga. Cool. I didn't know yoga taught that. That's fantastic, honey. And he buys in immediately. And it's so adorable because they both should know better. They both should be like, yeah, no, there's no way a human being should be able to do this the way that my partner just did. Something's suspicious. But they don't ever do that. Like every time they get kind of close, they just choke and they're just like, Lloyd, does that mean you're a really good athlete? And it's like he's just like, yep, I sure am. But having the only person who knows the full truth of what's happening being their daughter Anya, because she's telepathic, is fantastic and amazing. And like my favorite thing, because the only one who knows the truth is the one least likely to do anything with it other than being like, my mom and my dad are really cool. I should make sure they get to date. Like that's all she really tried to do. So Anya's great. Anya's just fantastic. Ooh. But yeah, I don't know how much more Spy Family they have left. I haven't really kept up with that. And I haven't seen a lot of other people watching it either. Like, it's kind of disappeared. But there's some good anime out there. I remember doing a watch party in, was it Lab's Discord? Where it was like recovery of an MMO addict. And that one was good for the first couple episodes I watched. It was just too late and I had to go to bed. And I couldn't stay up late and watch any more of it. But it was a good time. It was a good time. She is still going. Oh, goodness. But yeah, what else have I watched or read recently that's been kind of good and interesting? I haven't really like read anything new. Like I reread some books from one of my favorite series. Oh, I just noticed that one part of my background is messed up. Let me refresh that. Oop, there we go. It's been broken all straight. But no, I reread some books by one of my favorite authors where, how can I summarize this series? Magical world, but it's also like very close to like the modern age. So they have like indoor plumbing and they have coffee readily available. But like people very much live in places that feel like castles. And like people definitely like ride around on horseback. Though they don't have to. So it's hard to like place a timeline for that necessarily. It kind of seems to be like whatever time and setting is most appropriate. So it's hard to say exactly, but they a big war happened, or was starting to happen, and one person basically sacrificed their magic and their power to stop the war by essentially killing everybody evil on the other side. Like they found a way to differentiate people that were evil and corrupted and just nuked everybody. And I reread a couple books that were about. So there's the big three books, like the trilogy of like these people meeting, getting together, and the war happening and ending. And then like there's a side book that like is kind of referenced in the war, like something somebody did in that story was like useful for like ending the war. So that book is good on its own. I think I reread that one. And then there's stories at like post-war that involve the descendants of the people from like the side book. They went to like another kingdom. Like they couldn't go home because their home was destroyed. So they went to another kingdom. They set down roots there and like raised families. And then hundreds of years later, their descendants were persecuted and mistreated because of things that they had done in the past, or things that our protagonists had done in the past. And essentially, now that the big war was over, They were going to try and rebuild, and they needed people who still knew like how to be good and righteous and just. So they went to like call in a favor and see if they could get a ruler for their kingdom from like the other main characters. And it's a lot of like having culture clash from that. But it's a good story. I'm paraphrasing it as best I can because there isn't really a great. It's a very difficult series to explain. But it's something I was reading the first books like 20 plus years ago when I was like 15. So it's a big part of my life. So every now and again I'll like reread the trilogy or reread other books in it. One of my favorite stories to read is there's like a book of short stories, and you get to like read a story about one of the major male characters like meeting and courting his wife, who he initially hires as like a housekeeper, and he's just like she's around for like a day, and he just like goes off, like leaves the house, goes to his father who's like a lord. He's just like, you need to get her out of there. And he's just like, why? What's wrong? And it's just like, because she's driving me nuts. It's like, is she behaving inappropriate? He's like, no, because I want to bang her. That's why. I want to throw her against the wall and bang the hell out of her. And he's just like, I see. And he just like clocks his dad, like shifting from concern to like interested parent. He's just like, no, I know it's not possible. Why not? Well, she works for me. And because she works for me. And eventually they work it out, but it's that is a very sweet story of watching two people fall in love. And for anybody concerned about the guy like flirting with somebody who works for him, his father essentially says, if you do anything that I remotely believe is inappropriate, I will kick your ass. And you might be better with me than at weapons. I'm way better than you at magic, and I will kick your ass, and we both know it. And having his father basically draw that line for him was something he genuinely appreciated. And like his dad basically being like, listen, I know who you are as a person. I know your character. I know you won't cross that line, but I also know you need to hear me say it. If you cross that line, I'll kick your ass. And it's good. It's a very sweet story. But other than that, I have not read another book in a while. Probably due to like fall into a new series. What was the last like big series I got into? I think it was the Vorkosigan Saga, which was recommended to me by somebody not last year but the year before, I think. And I like powered through those in a couple months. But that's the story of like two military officers who meet but are on opposite sides of the war, who eventually end up like married in a relationship together, and but they're attacked while she's pregnant, and the son gets like genetic scarring from it. So he's born with like a whole bunch of birth defects that, because of the culture on their planet, like he's not accepted for it, and he has to work like really, really hard to get any level of acceptance, and he has to have like a whole bunch of really painful surgeries. And he eventually like makes a career for himself out of stuff, but he makes a career for himself, and then he gets hurt in the line of duty and like ends up being in a position where he should resign for medical leave, but tries to push through it and doesn't, and kind of gets caught by other people in the military for not having reported it, and is dismissed, and then like does a big thing to like solve a conspiracy against the royal family, and gets an even better job than his old one. So he that was a fun and interesting story. I also enjoy the one there where like he meets his wife, or he meets the woman he eventually marries, and he's trying to court her, and like just the clusterfuck that is that entire story, and how badly that whole thing goes. But it's a very good book series if anybody's interested. It's definitely like science fiction. Like it is intergalactic warfare with spaceships. So that is 100% like the type of story it is. So, he's a good time, though. It's a very good time. It's a bunch of books, too. Like, it's like 15 to 20 books, I think. Something like that. Like, literally, I had to look up online, like, what's the reading order for this? And I read them in order, and they make sense. But I don't know when the next one will be out. There might not be another one, because they kind of hit a point where it makes sense to be done. And yeah, like a lot of the really, really exciting stuff that I enjoyed from a narrative standpoint, like they're kind of done with that. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if they go anywhere from that going forward. It's been a long time since I've been in a bookstore. Far too long, probably. I need to like go to a bookstore and see what's out there and what's cool. What was another one I read? I read a bad one a while back where it was about like what was it? I want to call it like Empyrean Saga or something like that. It was like a young woman woke up, like grew into realizing she had like godlike magical power. It was supposed to fulfill some kind of prophecy, but it was bad, and she like had a lot of trauma and made a bunch of really like shit decisions, and the book kept jumping between like her in the past and like her child who had been like teleported away through the time stream at a later point or something. And it was interesting. So, but I just found the main character, one of the main characters, to just be wholly uninteresting, and I'm just like, they are just making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and some of them make sense, and some of them are just dog shit. And she's just like, well, I made one bad decision. I guess I better make all of the bad decisions now. And just, it's a bad idea. It's just a terrible, terrible idea. So I read that. I did read, what was it? Two of Crows? What's it called? It was the Six of Crows duology, which was written by Leigh Bardugo, if I'm reading the name right, who also did the Shadow and Bone trilogy that got like a TV adaptation. They're a very good author too. These are technically like young adult books, though. We're gonna get like very technical about it. But they're still interesting. The Six of Crows duology is essentially about a gang of thieves put together to do like an impossible heist, and they succeed and come back to like get betrayed, and then they are going to take revenge, because of course they're going to. You don't screw over Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11 will kick your ass. What else have I read recently? I have a couple of manga series that I've been like collecting. I was doing Sengoku Yoku, which is by one of my favorite authors whose name escapes me at the moment. But that's being published by Tokyo Pop, and I don't have a release date for the next volume, which sucks. I'm doing Komi Can't Communicate now as well. I think that might be one of the last books that I'm like really like reading new. And then I'm also collecting the omnibuses of how do I pronounce that? Yokohama Kaidashe Kiko, or Yokohama Shopping District, which were a really, really old series that I read like 20 years ago in like high school or college, and they finally are getting like a US releasing and like a double editions, and it's a slice of life story about an android running a coffee shop. But it's poignant and it's beautiful and it's soulful and it's the good feelings. It's the good feelings. So definitely, let me grab that name for you, actually. I'm going to pull it off of Amazon because I don't feel like typing it out. Come on, where is it? Here we are. Yokohama Kaidashi Kiko. But it's a genuinely beautiful story, and I cannot recommend it enough to basically everybody that is in any way remotely interested in stories and storytelling. It's a fantastic example of, like, you don't need crazy action to tell a really good story. You don't need, like, it's just good. It's just good. This one, I purchased that already, and I'm gonna add this one to my wish list because I'm gonna get it later. I think that's the last one too. Last one they have listed, but it's coming out in August. That's cool. That's something to look forward to. Do I have a link for this here? Did I do anything? I do. But here's another thing here. I also recently updated my throne. Well, I gotta put that up here. YouTube, socials. Save that to my title. I recently updated Throne to add in a couple of new gifts, and as well as some donations for anybody that wants to help with, like, new emotes or new art, or I was thinking about, like, getting a new Live 2D model upgrade, and so I've got a couple things there for helping with that. So yeah, anybody want to help? That's a place to go and a place to help and support. No pressure to do it. It's not required in any way, shape, or form. But a little bit here, a little bit there, we'll get there eventually. But also, please, Nick, only support if you can afford it. Like, this is not... Pay your rent, afford food for yourself, live a good life for yourself. Only give what is genuinely extra. Because you all deserve nice lives too. So yeah. Also, I don't remember if I know there's a, like, thing you can, like, add it to... Yeah, you can add it to stream. I don't know if I've ever actually seen it activate on stream. I feel like people have bought stuff here before. Maybe it was all after times. But we'll see. But yeah, I added a couple new things to Throne for anybody that wants to help there. And yeah, that'll help us get more art for like promos or schedules. I was actually kind of like eyeing up one to submit this week to somebody because I have an artist in mind. I'm like, yeah, I've worked with them before. I really like their stuff. I might get something from them going forward. But I was wanting to see if I could get something done by like Friday, and I think that's too tight of a deadline. So I have an idea on something else. I just need to find like a reference and like commission them properly. I have a lot of sweets. Yes, I have a sweet tooth. I have a big sweet tooth. So, but yeah, I have like sweet tooth stuff. I have vinyl on there because I like a lot of vinyl and video game vinyl stuff. Nice. But yeah, I have a couple games there too. I think I have Mario, and then I had Baldur's Gate 3. Which I ought to probably pull Baldur's Gate, because I don't think I'm... Even if I get that, I'm not going to be playing it on stream, probably. That would be more of like a whenever sort of title. I don't think anything else on my wish list is really like out or will be out soon. So I tend to buy a lot of the stuff on my own that I kind of want to check out. So we'll see though. Oh wow, no, Hellblade 2 is out now. I guess that's why I saw some stuff on stream about that. Or on stream, on social media.
Yes.
Nice. Good for the Hellblade 2 people. It's nice that they have that. Treat House Assorted Rice Krispie 12-pack. Ooh, that does sound good, Perry. Shadow of the Erd Tree. How much do they want for this? It's $40 for Shadow of the Erd Tree. No. People are gonna spend it. What's that? Rotwood seems cute. Ghost of Tsushima. It's an interesting art style. No, I didn't want to do that. But yeah, I kind of said something during the stream with Dan the Draconian, who rated us earlier, like the wonderful gentleman that he is. Like, when it comes to supporting streams, streamers in general, but my stream specifically, whatever you do helps. Like, if you can buy a sub, that helps. If you can get something off Throne, that helps. If you can do a donation through Ko-fi, like I have the bot talking about there, that helps. Obviously, financial donations help, like anything financial does. Like, showing up to stream and chatting, though, that helps. Like, that keeps me company and makes me feel like I'm not just talking into the void all day. Though my friend Void would be very nice to talk to. I really ought to have like a just chatting stream with them at some point, perhaps. But like, even if you're here and you're just lurking, like it shows up on the reports. Like, I see it. I see viewers in the stream, and you know, that's encouragement. So whether you're watching ads or not, I mean, obviously the more you do, the more it helps. Like, so if you're watching, if you're, you know, present during streams, you're chatting during streams, you're watching ads, you're supporting and getting other stuff. I need to put in a bot and call it Void. No, I'm not going to call a bot after my friend. I'm going to have to do some kind of bot thing, though, at some point. I need to do a few more things. But, yeah, whatever you do to help, even if it's just offering your time and your company, like, it helps. It genuinely does. Because I've done those streams for years and years where I was sitting here with no one to interact with, no one to talk to, nothing, like, nothing to bounce off of. And those are long, difficult streams, and those are not easy. That's a lot of why, like, I play games, because if nothing else, I have the game to interact with. So, having people show up, if they talk, great. If they don't, that's fine too. You know, if they can support financially, great. If they can't, that's fine too. If they can watch ads, great. If they can't, that's fine too. Yeah, you say you get that, Perry, but every now and again you see somebody going on a tear and having a tantrum on Twitter about what is and isn't allowed in their chat room, and like, you're here. You're hanging out with me. And I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. So thank you. Really happy when it's one person to chat with. Yeah, like having one person just makes a huge difference. It helps, like, the more people, to a degree, the more people, the better. If you have a ton of people, chatting gets really chaotic. But, you know, having a nice tight-knit group of people show up, is really nice. And I try to be that for some friends too. So he's good stuff. He's very, very good stuff. I'm trying to think of what I have to planned going forward. I bought a couple games recently that I've been meaning to check out, and then I just, like, whenever I have time, I don't actually sit down and do anything with them. Which, I probably should. Though I don't know when I would have, like, a lot of time. Well, I guess I will have some later this week. But, like, whenever I do have time, I just am always like, yeah, not tonight. Or not right now. Or not this. Or not that. So, it's just, I haven't done any progress with them. But, no. After tonight, the next stream will be Saturday, midday. That'll be Duck Detective, and then there's going to be another one for Zelda, and then I'll have another stream Tuesday of next week. So, there's going to be a bunch of time. Like, I'm going to have 2 full days off, plus, like, evenings for the next couple, next week or so. And that's going to be plenty of time to pick them up and play them. And I don't have Hades 2 to play anymore. I've been going back and playing, like, Hades 1 and just feeling the difference for that versus Hades 2. And just seeing, like, the quality of life upgrades that they did. And Hades 1 is still good. Hades 2 is still so much better. They did fantastic with that. I'm really looking forward to what launch version is going to be like. Because it's going to be... I strongly suspect Hades 2 is going to be a Game of the Year contender. Whether or not it wins depends on whether it's going to be up against like a Zelda or an Elden Ring or something like that. But it's going to be a really strong contender in the categories it's in. Because Supergiant Games just makes fantastic games. Like the visuals are good, the gameplay is good, the music is amazing. Like it's just good. It's just good. So. Yeah, if you haven't checked out Hades 2 yet, strongly recommend. Even though it's in early access, it's like $30 to get in, and it's one of the best early accesses. That company does very good early access games, but this is definitely like one of the better early access style of games. Period, because they have like most of the game done. So it's very, very good. Do I have anything else to talk about? I can't really think of anything. I kind of want to... I think it's time to raid out to somebody. Let's look for somebody to raid. Let me see here. Let me refresh Twitch and see who's around. And Shumi is still doing Hollow Knight. That is impressive. She was streaming that earlier. Rick Van Crow is doing Hades 2. Got Joey, Excalibur. Well, Excalibur's doing early Alien Isolation. That might feel like a little bit strong to like dump people from this into Alien Isolation. Somebody's doing Elden Ring. Oh, somebody couldn't play Dead Space tonight. Darn it. Manor Lords, Fallout. Let's see. Oh, Shumi's going the distance. Let's raid Shumi. I haven't raided Shumi in a while. Probably because Shumi's been gone. Shumi's playing Hollow Knight. It's one of my favorite games ever. And they are fighting a boss right now. And they're giving it their best, because I know they are, because it's Shumi. So, you be nice to this little sheepy VTuber. She recently got a nice Live 2D upgrade, and she's super happy with it, and she's super cute. And, yeah. Y'all take good care of her. I will see you again on Saturday for our first stream of Duck Detective, The Secret Salami. It's going to be a good time, everybody. I'm really looking forward to that game. But anyway, let's get this raid going. Take care, and I will see you later. Have a good rest of your night, everybody.